night to whoever you are in the world watching this. Today I'm going to talk about magistrates' courts in particular, where a magistrate works under the guise of honour. Remember, we have to call them honour. And a protest to dishonour them, there are many ways. They have 3 jurisdictions which they can hide behind and manipulate it, so-called magic. And if they lose that magic, they lose the game. Now, I'm not going to go through those areas of honour, which they can be, when they leave the court, they come back, and they come back on the last one. Well, that's the one where everything ends. But anyway, that's just another story and for another time. But today, I went along with a friend of mine to a magistrate's court in Melbourne. Now, this is a big court, a very busy one. It was a council matter. And of course, councils are private corporations, just like the Justice Department itself. Again, another matter. But what was annoying and disgusting and disgraceful was how the magistrate who's sitting there, you call him honour, this magic, and of course money, the term curse comes from. Curse is what they give you when they sentence you, they put a curse on you. Right? It's a long story, and it's really, really good, and it's in depth. Anyway, we had a man who's going to talk to us, please God, this weekend. He's going to come on and make up this video. The end of it, I hope. If not, we'll carry on and explain what happened. Now, he's a builder, and he put a scaffolding up. He was told by a bylaws officer to take it down because he didn't have a permit, and like a good man, he did. Went to get a permit, and he was told he needed to spend $1,200 to get a drawing to produce to the council. He went to the council and they said it's going to take 4 weeks to get it. Now, this was an emergency. This building had loose bricks. He'll explain it when he comes on. I hope he comes on. The thing is, it was an emergency. He put the scaffolding up and a bylaws officer came along. Bylaws officer, another private corporation, working for a private corporation. And he said to them, look, just walk around the block, I'll be gone. It took 15 minutes to actually do the job. But he got a ticket, $1,000 fine, which he objected to and ended up in a court. And then the magistrate was very polite, very helpful, as they are these days, was committing a number of indictable offences. Masquerading as an officer of the Crown, covering up the fraud itself, which is misprision of fraud, knowing that the council that were laying the complaint was a private corporation as well, so therefore you have another indictable offence. All these offences arrestable without warrant. Misprision of felony. In other words, she was covering up the fact in the court. The 2 witnesses, 2 of which were ex-cops, way back, were again misprision of treason, misprision of fraud, all covering up. Really, it was disgusting. And after hours, I'm talking about 2 hours or 3 hours, I can't remember the time, it was 10:30 in the morning or something, that till bloody lunchtime, continued. And the man's case he put forward just made perfect sense. But crimes were being committed in our presence. Now, every country, and under common law, you can find somebody committing an offence, you can arrest them. Under state laws, which Ireland, every country has state law. Here in Victoria, Section 458 of the Crimes Act, a person who finds somebody committing an offence, especially an indictable offence, can arrest them and take them to a policeman, a constable, it actually says. Now, all police, regardless of rank, chief inspectors, chief constable, are all constables at law. So you take them there, and they must carry out the process of the arrest, otherwise they're perverting the course of justice. And of course the term justice, if you grammarize it, means no law. The whole thing is an absolute curse, and that's exactly what they refer to in the bar. So yeah, well, it's bar. It's got a very interesting name behind that, but it all goes back to cardinal law, and that's why cardinal law, you find every police vehicle has the colour blue. Sunday, it goes back to the Sunday, the colour blue. It's all under cardinal law or Roman law. Anyway, the fact is, Personally speaking, I am sick to death of this criminal activity. The Act of 1986 made this place an unlawful republic. The Labour Party did that. The Labour Parties everywhere today, all working without the Crown. Crown removed, yet we have royal commissions. Now we have the cheeky bastards calling themselves King's Councillors. It's so corrupt, it's unbelievably corrupt. And we, the stupid people, are allowing this to carry on and do nothing about it. You've got to learn the law. There are 3 ways of stopping these in courts, a number of ways. It starts out in one. I'm not going to give all the game away now. I will talk about it in private at helping people out, but I'm not going to publish it at this stage. Anyway, I hope we can have a chat with our friend, and if he comes on to have a chat, this will make it a very interesting video, and it's up to you guys to share it and spread it. In the meantime, support common law, because it's the only way back. We have our paperwork gone to The Hague under the Foreign Judgment Act. The Foreign Judgment Act here in our Supreme Court was rescinded because they like making money. And the amazing thing about our Supreme Court here in Melbourne, and it's probably the same around, it's definitely the same over in Ireland as well, is that the people running these places all dressed up in their penguin suits, especially here in Australia, more so in Australia than anywhere else. They're all private corporations. The head of the Supreme Court, the CEO, they have a CEO, his name is Matt. I won't mention his second name at this stage. And yet we have these guys dressed in penguin suits, all walking around as if they're enforcing laws and upholding the law, when again they're a private corporation, all masquerading as Crown officers of the Crown. It's disgusting. Anyway, London News sign off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do share it. Remember, common law is the only way back. We just need somebody with a voice to back it, to give it credence. Somebody of importance, somebody of note who will stand up and say common law is the way to go, and then perhaps the 90% of the people who just don't care may step in and support us. And of course, we have a lot of people who like to knock common law because they say, oh, what's the outcome? Well, we all know the outcome of the statute system, the maritime system, the cardinal law. Zilch, zero, dishonesty, corruption, and no legal, lawful ending in sight. Bye for now. Please support. Let's head across to Geelong here from Melbourne to speak to Nat. Bye for now. I'd like to introduce my friend from Geelong. We're going to ask him some questions in relation to what happened to him in the courthouse in Melbourne, or should we call it a courthouse, Nat? What happened to you? How did you end up in Melbourne Magistrates Court, and why?
First of all, hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I was working on a heritage building, and the permit that was organised by the owners had run out by 2 days. And not realising that, I rolled up to work, set up the scaffold. We had 9 loose bricks on the wall that needed to be attended to. I was just about to do it, and the traffic guy come past from the city and said, "You have a permit?" I said, "Yeah, the owner, Narina. She organised it." He checked on his phone and said, "Well, it's run out 2 days ago. You have to pull down your scaffold and get another one." I said, "If you go around the block, I'll have it finished by the time you get back. This is a safety thing. I got 9 loose bricks." He said, "Either pull it down or you're going to be fined." I asked what the fine was. He says $1,000. I thought, okay. So we pulled the scaffold down, drove from Melbourne back to Geelong, phoned up the city, tried to organise a permit. We were told 4 to 6 weeks. And I had to spend another $1,200 to get a guy to draw up how much of the footpath we were going to be taking up with our scaffold, how high it was. Thought, wow, 4 to 6 weeks. Anyway, 2 weeks went by, and I just couldn't sleep thinking about these loose bricks on top of a lintel just sitting there. So I said to my partner, we just got to fix it. So we raced up and we got the scaffold set up, just about to finish it. And another parking guy came and said, "Have you got a permit?" I said, "No, but we've got loose bricks. I can't wait 4 to 6 weeks." Next thing, I get a mail or a infringement notice in the mail. They're fining me $1,000 for not getting the permit.
The thing is, the reason you went ahead, you had a lawful excuse to fix this, because if you didn't fix it, those bricks came down and could have actually really could have killed somebody. So this guy, anyway, what happened then?
Yeah, so I sent a promissory note to them, promising to pay the fine. I had a few questions. One was, could they please provide a wet ink signatured contract between myself and the city, which they weren't able to do. There was a couple more. But anyway, I didn't get a response from the letter. They had 14 days to answer my concerns. On the 14th day, I got a letter in the mail saying I had to go to court. So I phoned up Barry and spoke to him about it. We went to court, and halfway through, I presented the letter, which no one knew about, to the judge, promising to pay. And it was at that point that I think it went from not paying the fine to not getting the permit. Suddenly, it all just got changed somehow in court. And I was a bit nervous. Had I not been so nervous, I probably would have caught on a bit earlier, but I didn't realize that they'd now changed it because they knew they couldn't answer the questions without incriminating themselves on my promissory note. And so we're no longer in court now for not paying a fine. Somehow it's because I didn't get the original permit. Anyway, to cut it short, I ended up where the judge said that she would remove all the charges with the $1,000 fine and so on, because there was a safety issue, but I still had to pay the court costs. And so that's where we're at now. I've made the first payment. I got it to the lowest I could, $75 a month. And I've just made my first payment, and nothing I can do about it. I mean, had I known a bit more, I probably would have taken it to Supreme Court and challenged it. But I just don't know enough about this stuff yet to put up a good defense. Although I had them on the ropes, I'm pretty sure of that. They switched it in the middle of the court case. We went from not paying the fine to not having the permit. And I had to plead guilty to that because I didn't have a permit. I didn't plead guilty to not paying the money because I was prepared to pay it. I promised to pay it. And the prosecution didn't have a copy of the letter. The judge didn't have a copy of the letter. The clerk didn't have a copy. And while I had the man in the stand, the witness, who was the one who issued the infringement notice, I asked him why it was that he failed to sign it, and why it was that he failed to address my letter, to which he said, I didn't get the letter. I didn't know about the letter. And I said to him, well, I've got it here. It was sent registered mail to you personally. Someone in your office got it. It would have gone to you. He denied it. And once I presented the letter to the judge and she read it, because I had a few copies with me on hand, somehow we went from not paying the fine to I didn't get the permit. And so I lost the case.
Yeah,
I won, but I lost because I still have to pay the court costs.
It's amazing. You have there was three private corporations there, three companies. And the thing is, in Australia and most countries in the world, people can, when they find people committing offences, they do have the power of arrest. So these people were sitting there in committing crimes, very serious crimes. I mean, they were representing the Crown, and the Crown's been removed. They were private corporations. It's like, as I keep saying, and it's like walking into McDonald's and demanding a KFC menu. So you're not going to get it. There was crimes committed, serious and diabolical crimes committed by the council, by the witnesses, by the magistrate, and yet they just laugh at it and they turn the whole system around on you just to get some moolah, get some money out of you. And you had a good defense, but unfortunately you didn't have your glasses to read it, and that would have saved you a lot of. You had the right questions to ask, but you left your spectacles in the car. Has that happened?
Yeah. I guess in the excitement and the nervousness and trying to prepare for the case, I had my glasses. I left them in the truck, and the truck was a fair way away from the court, from where I could get a park, and just insufficient time to race to the truck to get the glasses to get back in time for the court case. But I did learn a lot, and I'm still prepared to stay on common law and looking to get something happening here in Geelong, in my own town. There's quite a few people who are friends of mine that are interested in setting something up and getting more involved. People need to know the scam, and lesson learned. I'd do it again. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But next time I need to be a bit more prepared with a bit more knowledge and understanding. And as Barry said, be fully equipped with my glasses so I can read.
It's amazing. These people are in a glass house and they're throwing not only stones, but they're throwing bricks and they get away with it. Okay, Nat, thank you very much for telling us what happened there, and better look in the future. But common law is the only way to go, and we can help you in any way. We will do. So thanks for telling your story.
Thanks very much for having me. All the best, Barry.
Okay, bye for now, everybody.
Bye and God bless.
God bless.